So your project's over and now you're wondering, okay, what am I supposed to do next? Like, how do I turn this one-time client into a repeat client so I can keep the lights on over and over and over again, right? Well, friends, my recommendation is to follow up once you're done with your project with an offboarding process. So let's talk about what an offboarding process is and why you need one. So an offboarding process is literally just that. It's the process rolling off your client from a project off from your plate. For some people, they don't even think about doing an offboarding process. They kind of are like, okay, great, project's done and delivered your files, peace out. And I will say I was definitely one of those. I never really thought about what happens at the very end of a project and how that interaction can then turn and become repeat business, a repeat customer. The benefits of having an offboarding process is your client understands that this is the end of the project. I have worked with clients as their e-learning developer, and I have had customers who come back 6 to 12 months later asking for changes, telling me they never uploaded their e-learning module to their LMS and needing new files. So your project was over like a year ago, and you need to be compensating me for my work. And I think for customers, they just feel like it's always kind of open-ended, and it really isn't. Once your agreed upon deliverables have been delivered and your final invoice has been paid, that is the end of the contract. You can't come back 6 to 12 months later saying, I need this and that. It's like, yeah, we can absolutely do that for you. However, it will incur a change order to your original proposal, or I'll set you up with a statement of work of what that would entail. So having that offboarding process really does help to put and make it clear to the client that this is the end, and any other changes would be happy to make in the future, but they would be under a new statement of work. It also gives the client an opportunity to understand how they can work with you in the future. There are a lot of clients that I will have conversation with, and they'll be like, oh, I didn't know that you did that. We need that. Can you help us with that? They end up actually adding more work because they didn't realize all the services that we offer, which is fine. They only came in wanting this one service, and they didn't realize just how vast the team was and the amount of services that we did offer. The offboarding process can help be that education piece of the additional ways that they can work with you. But the really cool thing about the offboarding process is that because you've had this relationship with the client for so long, you don't just want to list off all the services that you offer, although you should do that. You should also tailor your recommended opportunities to work together based on that project or other things that you've seen. You want to be seen as a consultant, not just an order taker, not just someone who pops in, solves your problem, and walks right out. You're a consultant. This is a partnership. And when you come from a place of servant leadership and partnership and culture of care, like we love to say here, you really do see clients that continue to come back to you, and you really being able to expand within organizations because you're acting as a consultant, because you're leading from their best interests at heart, seeing holes and how you can help them plug those holes. Your offboarding process should also include your final report, your final recommendations for them in whatever way, shape, or form works best for you. We do a next steps document, like a project closeout document that really walks them through all of these things. In that document, we'll include things like a thank you, a summary of what we did, what are our recommendations, and next steps. And all of those things can help for you to write your next proposal so you can scope it accurately. It also gets them thinking okay, this isn't just a one and done. We're going to move on to the next phase of the project. Also, as part of your project closeout or your offboarding process, you want to make sure that any and all invoices have been paid and all of that accounting stuff has been done. You don't have to worry about closing out any contracts or anything like that. I always leave master design agreements open so that at any point that client can come back and work with me, considering that I want to work with that client, but that client can come back and work with us, and you don't have to redo that portion of the project. We can just start from the statement of work because we already have an MDA in place. So now I'm going to walk you through the latest next step document that we worked on at Anchor Training. So let's talk about what I put specifically in the project closeout packet. So every direct project gets one of these. So what it is just basically very clear next steps for your project.
It includes a thank you, just a little bit about how excited we were about the project and, what to remember that comes next and what is this document that you're giving me. We also include a summary of services. So this is just so everybody is completely clear what we were contracted delivered, what we delivered, just to kind of summarize all the steps that we took to achieve where we are, like the end results. We also included a considerations page. Basically, this was part of a learning blueprint where we really ended up analyzing a lot of their current work, did learner analysis of two types of learners, two types of employees, I should say, and talked a lot about the culture at this organization. So we put in a document all about the considerations that they should be thinking about, their 3-year plan. We have next steps. This is critical. This is key. You want that client to remember why they need to keep coming back to you, I should say. So we talked all about, what are their next steps? What can we provide for them in terms of, whatever the next steps is for the project. We then included frequently asked questions, right? So when we do deliver these types of projects, what are the things that people are asking about? And really, this is where you can have the time to be fun and be cheeky and all of that good stuff. Then you want to include just additional ways that they can keep up with you, right? Do you have a newsletter? That would be really great for you to include. How can they connect with you on social media? Providing a Facebook link, an Instagram link, whatever ways that you want your clients to be following you and connecting with you, you should be including in this last page. We happen to have a Jumpstart course, so we wanted them to know about that. And this would be a good page to include a link to your testimonial form. We reach out to our clients and ask them for testimonials. We have a relationship manager that will do that. But you could also just include that here. But I would definitely not only leave it here and assume they're going to see it, click it and leave a testimonial. I would also directly ask, but it doesn't hurt to put it in your document as well, which I'll probably end up updating after we're done here. A lot of what I said in previous videos about your process, none of this is forever. None of this is you do it once and then it's over. You can really refine the process and you'll always find things that you want to add and change and all of that stuff as you work through the process. So don't feel like just because you've created this document, you've created this process, you have to stick to it. You are the owner of your own business and you can tweak it at any single time you want or need.
Wow. That document, it brings tears to my eyes. That wasn't the full final draft. The final draft had some more images and things like that. But that document just brings so much joy. It was one of the latest big projects that we've worked on, and to see how we've really, grown it from its very first iteration, and then to see how me not being in it, how it grew, and other team members putting their own little spin on it has really been just amazing. And so the other piece that I want to leave you with is, yes, I have a I don't want to say strict, but we have a defined process, and I have defined pieces of my project closeout. In that video, I was talking about putting in a link to your testimonials, and that wasn't in mine. On our next one, I'm going to go back and make sure that is added to our next step document. Of course, we're going to continue to reach out the way that we always do for testimonials, and then more of that personal contact, but having that link there is just one more place that they can see it and they can click on it and make sure that they leave that testimonial. The more places, the more ways that you communicate it, the higher chances that you'll actually receive it. That's just one thing that we're going to tweak. So these things are never perfect. You will always update them. And honestly, I always say, perfectionism is just procrastination. Version 1 will always be messy. Version 2 will be a little bit cleaner. And then by the time you get to version 3, 4, 5, it's going to be 1, very easy for you to update, and it's not going to take you any time to create this, document. But 2, it's going to be a lot better. It's going to be, something that, again, you're going to look at and you'll be like, wow, it went from being something kind of messy to something really, really cool and amazing. And so I definitely recommend that you start pulling together your own project closeout document, so you can leave your clients with a lasting image of a white glove service and really a high value consultant, and someone they're going to want to partner with it again. So before you start creating that document, I want you to go back and check out the ID process video that really walks you through from the discovery call, from the intake, all the way through to the project closeout, so you can really align your process and see where you might need to make some tweaks and really think about, what is my process? How do I get from here to here? And make sure, friends, you write it down. That is my biggest key this whole month. You need to write down your processes, even if it's just in a video form. Just get your processes out there so they become repeatable and scalable. And that way you can always bring in future, employees, future subcontractors, and you won't have to worry so much about the onboarding process because you have all these videos to help them get the process right the first time. So friends, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.